Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Anna Kloots is a Paris-based American writer and storyteller, but she's also a photographer, and there's a story behind every shot she takes. Instagram has completely changed her life, and we chat today about her travels around 83 countries and 6 continents before calling Paris, France home. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. If you want more bonus material and to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/La Vie Creative. And also don't forget to check out Amazon, where you can pick up my new book, Paris, A Life Less Ordinary. In the book, I talk about my creative adventures in Paris, from starting my business to being homeless, hello, starving artist, to how I met all these wonderful creative people. Don't forget to check it out on Amazon. And also thank you so much once more for listening and for your support. Enjoy the show. So welcome to the show, Anna. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here.
I've heard a lot about you through our inner circles. Paris is a village. You are friends with Emily Jackson. She's a very good friend as well. And I think that's actually how I discovered you, was through her stories.
Oh, great. Yeah, she is. She helped me get my visa. She helped me figure out how to get here. And then when I moved here, we realized that we were neighbors. And that is actually insane because Paris is small, but not that small. And to literally be living 2 doors down from her when I had never met her before, it just turned out to be crazy. So now I see her all the time. We went to the marché together today. It was nice. It was a sneaky way of seeing a friend during confinement.
I love that.
Happened to meet at the same marché.
Paris is such a village. I hear this over and over again, and she's full of information on how to do visa stuff. I think I read her stuff about paxing back when I got paxed. So it's like, this is very helpful.
She's fantastic. I have told her several times, I don't think I would have survived or even gotten here without you. So thank you all the time.
Yes, consultant in the making.
Yeah, she is.
So I want to talk a little bit about your Paris story. You have traveled all over the world. I was reading 83 countries, 6 continents, and you've gone through 2 passports in 12 years?
I have, yeah. It's crazy.
But you decided to settle in Paris after all that. Why?
I did. Paris is my favorite city and place in the whole world. And it just really and I can say that with such authority because of how much I've traveled. I really tried them all. I've been so many places. I've lived in London, New York, and Paris. I did a semester abroad in Paris when I was 19. And I just really fell in love. I had been kind of obsessed with it before that, just from learning French and learning about France. And I'd always wanted to come. And that semester really just cemented this love. And, I don't know what it is. I can't explain it in 1 or 2 words, but to me, that actually explains it, because whenever you genuinely just fall in love with something, you so rarely have the answers as to why. You just feel it. And that's how I am with Paris. This is just where I come alive, and it's so inspirational to me. And I absolutely love it here. So it was a total dream to get to move back here. It's something I told myself I would do. I promised when I left that semester abroad, I would move back one day. And I finally got here on the best year ever to come to Paris.
Yeah, great year to move.
It was the worst year to move, but in some ways the best year to move, because if I didn't have a visa to France right now, I would be in the US when will I ever make it back to France?
It's so funny you talk about, having to get back here, because I was just talking about this with another guest about, I felt the same about there's some kind of energy here, there's a pull, and it's the land of opportunity for creatives in some ways. I know other people see America as the land of opportunity, but for us, I feel like France is the land of opportunity. Would you agree?
Yeah, you know what? It goes so far back when you think of all the great artists and writers wanted to come here. And I mean, when I'm here I'm like, okay, Hemingway, I get it. Like I see the appeal. And then like you want to go, sit at Le Domego and do your writing there because he used to, to me, it's because it's so different from America and it's just like, it's so beautiful everywhere. Everything in this city feels like it was designed to be beautiful, down to the way the food looks, to the way the people talk, to the language, to the architecture, to the cobblestone streets. Like just everything to me is really, really just evokes ideas and beauty and magic. And it inspires me like nowhere else does.
I love that. I mean, we all feel that, and vacationing here is a lot different than living here. We all know that. The struggle is real, guys. Sometimes it's better just to take a trip here. But if I notice the people that do live here, we like a challenge, we like a struggle, and we fought for her. We fought for Paris. So it sounds like
Yeah,
you're
and
one
you
of
know
those
what?
people.
Like you love that. Like it every time, honestly, anytime living here is difficult, or like really frustrating or really different in a way I never saw coming, or I'm like, why is that the case? Like that makes no sense. It actually just like it kind of makes me happy in a weird way. Like I'm like, that makes no sense. It's so French. Like this is I have to really fight for this life. Like it's when you're in the US and I think any city you're born in, it's easy, like your country, the language, the rules, the way it is. And when you move abroad, when you're an expat, life is hard and you really have to
Mhm.
fight for it every single day. And it's a constant learning curve and it's a constant feeling like an outsider. And I think you either chase that struggle and really grow from it, or you just don't want anything to do with it. And then you should never move abroad.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But
The people who don't like that, they leave very quickly. So you
yeah,
definitely.
and it's not the place for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree. And because of all your travels, and you're obviously a creative person with writing and photos and everything you're doing, so do you see a connection between travel and creativity?
I think for me, at least for like, I mean, my type of creativity is writing and photography. So 100%, because, you travel and all of your senses explode if you're going to places that are different from home. And the places I love most in the world are the places most different from home. My absolute favorite destinations are India and Africa and Japan and then France. And to me, like I just want to feel like I'm on Mars, because when I am so far out of my comfort zone, that's when things really inspire creativity to me, because they're so different that you really have to stop and analyze them and look at them. And it's like, you're like, I've never seen this particular thing before. And for me, that sparks ideas and it makes you consider the contrast. And it always, for me, like it sparks stories and, it's things you want to take pictures of. And I think that, it's not essential to good creativity to travel, but it certainly expands your paintbrush and your ability to sort of think outside the box when you truly are outside your box.
No, I completely agree. That's so true. And we get out of the hamster wheel, right? We get some other
Yeah.
ideas going, more critical thinking, and how has Paris changed you in that way? I mean, obviously you've had to change a little bit being here. What's changed for you?
Paris, I moved from New York City, so Paris has made me slow down, which I love. I think everybody should live in New York once in their life. If they have any desire to, you should go do it, because it's an experience and it changes you. And where New York made me like a little aggressive and a little pushy and a little, more ambitious than I would typically be, and a little bit more direct and just go, go, go all the time. Then I moved to Paris and I become very relaxed and chill. And like, I noticed the other day here, like no one walks around with their coffee, right? Like no one walks around with coffee in hand. And when I realized this contrast, I was like, this is so weird. Like, why is no one walking around with a coffee? It's so nice to stroll with a coffee. And then I was like, because in France, you would never do that. If you want a coffee, you sit down, you enjoy your coffee, you take your coffee, you watch these people walking by, you chat with the waiter. Like you would never just do things for the sake of doing them quickly. Like everything here is about enjoying it. If you're going to do something, enjoy it. And I really love that. That has sunk into me and made my days go a lot slower and made me really look at everything a lot deeper. I never just go grocery shopping anymore. I go to the marché and I'm evaluating all the things and I'm looking at how beautiful the tomatoes are and I'm, chatting with the vendor and making friends. And, it's a different focus of life. Like your life becomes more chill, a little more slower, and you really stop and enjoy here. And I never did that in America. I really didn't.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It's funny to hear you say that Paris made you slow down and New York toughened you because I feel that way because I've never lived in New York, but I moved to Paris when I was 26 and I was like, oh God, I got to be tougher and I got to stand my ground and I got to be in I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what New York like prepped you for that in Paris.
It does. It definitely makes you, that's why I think everyone should live there. It makes you a different version of yourself, and that can be good or bad. But I think it definitely it puts you through something. And then I think everyone
Yeah.
should live in Paris too. Because,
I
and I
just
think
live
in that
everywhere.
order, you can't go from Paris to New York, but you could go from New York to Paris and be like,
That's so
aha.
true because I thought I wanted to live in New York, but now that I've lived in Paris, I would never want to live in New York. I'm like, it just
No.
Paris is that village, but still a city, and New York is just a city.
It really is. There are the little neighborhoods kind of can have that little neighborhood feel, but the thing is they're small. A neighborhood in Manhattan is a couple city blocks and then it's over. So, I really do love how just lost in time Paris feels. And, I'm a retrophile, like absolutely. Just if you told me I could go back and live in 1940 or 50 or 60, I would pay money to do that. And so like for me, I feel like time is kind of just suspended here in so many ways. Like there are definitely modern things, but you don't feel them as much as you do in other places. And when you
Mm-hmm.
leave Paris, like I took a little road trip down to the Loire a month ago and I was like, on the big that like the what's it called? The thing that goes around Paris, the highway. And then we were like driving out and I was like, wait, this is like the real world now. Like we just left Fantasyland and now we're in the
We
real
love
world.
Euro Disney.
It's such a stark contrast just to like get on that highway outside of Paris. It feels like Paris is this little Disneyland.
Yeah, it really does. Paris is it's a movie set.
It is. I say that all the time that it's a movie, but no one realizes they're in a movie.
I like that. And you've developed a really great following on Instagram and you've kind of built like a little business out of it for yourself. So talk a little bit about how social media has maybe changed your life.
I mean, it's completely changed my life. It's crazy. I started a blog when I was 19, when I was studying abroad here. And just because I loved writing and I wanted to, kind of keep my family up to date on what I was doing while I was abroad. And then I kept that blog always. And then I remember like getting Instagram then when I moved to London, and I kept it for the same reason. It was always just to kind of like visually tell stories of what I was doing. And that just always stayed my purpose on Instagram, like visual stories. And I really liked that you could, capture something and then write a little sentence or two and then, kind of take people on like a little journey that showed a little bit, but not a ton, it showed like just a little peek at what was going on. And everything just honestly grew very organically. I never, I don't know how long ago you started Instagram, but like when it started, I think this was, I don't even remember the year. Like blogging wasn't, you weren't making money from being on Instagram. Being an influencer wasn't a thing. It was just something that like I genuinely enjoyed doing and just had a very clear idea of like, I'm traveling all the time. I want to show people places. I want to take interesting pictures and, share a little bit about these places. So it all kind of grew very organically. And I remember when I started to like get business offers being like, what? Like, what do they want me to do? So it's been cool because when something kind of finds you like that, rather than, a lot of people who are looking at social media now and saying, okay, how do I get into that? I want that to be my job. I want that to be a business. I feel lucky that I didn't have to approach it like that, because when people ask me for sort of advice as to how to get started, I'm like, I don't know. I don't, I was honestly just doing it because I enjoyed it and it became all of this in the meantime. But what it's been really wonderful is to be able to share those places with people has become really special to me. And then obviously created this, audience that knows now that I am traveling, or knows that, at the moment I'm not traveling, but I'm living in France, and you kind of become this resource to them on the world and on travel and on being an expat or whatever it is you're doing. And to me, that's really cool, because I always have wanted to write and share stories. So it's created this platform in which I can do that so easily and in whatever way that, I want. It can be completely authentically me. There's no editor, changing my words. There's nothing like that. There's no boss telling me I can or can't do this.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so cool about it, is you really get to be 100% authentically you, or as authentically you as you want to be.
And that brings me to my next question. Is there any times that you feel, okay, should I be sharing this? Or do you ever feel like an imposter standing in front of, your audience? How do you feel when you ever like second guess your post?
No, I really don't, because I've always, like I said, like the way I started it has just always been very, like, my mission was truly be as authentically yourself as you can on here. And anytime I leaned too much into really like making something very created, those were the only times I really questioned if I should be sharing it. Anytime that I knew like, but this wasn't what I was actually doing, or this wasn't what I was actually wearing, or like, you know what, I mean, sometimes I do walk around the streets twirling. I actually do that quite a bit. But like in that in that particular moment, I wasn't. It was only when stuff was really manufactured that I would second guess it. I think that what I've created on my platform, and it's important to me, is people know I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to say things, and they might sometimes be a little over the top, or, I'm like the queen of hyperbole. I always exaggerate. I'm always like inventing some, crazy thing in my head as to where this story could go or what could happen next. But I think when you really truly stay true to who you are all the time, then the people following you get to know who you are, and then they get it. So then you don't have this risk of like, how are people going to take that? Because if people know who you are, they're never going to take anything the wrong way, because they know you. That's my hope and intent.
Yeah, if you continue on the same path and people kind of get to know you, then they don't question it. Because do you think strangers can tell when you're being not authentic? Do you think they have like some kind of alarm for that?
I think so. I mean, it's funny. Even like there's times that I share a lot now, and some people like you see the same people, you chat with them, they DM you, and I've never met these people, but they feel like they know me, and I know, sometimes feel like I know, like I'll post a story, I'll be like, I know so and so is gonna love this, or like I've still never met them. But there's times that like I maybe was having a somewhat tough day, or was really stressed or something, but didn't come out and say it. And like, I'll get DMs being like, you looked a little off today. Are you okay? Like, is everything all right? And I'm like, how do you know?
Because I've been watching you.
Yeah, I think people really do and can get to know you. And then that can be really cool. My followers would DM me stuff that they're like, I know you will love this. And I'll look at it. I'll be like, I do love that. Thank you. And so it's, but I think that comes from just really being who you are. Like it's sometimes it's super weird to just be talking into a telephone screen alone, but you're also like, I don't know, you're connecting with people, and that's really cool. And so many of my best friends now I have made through Instagram. So in a way, to me, like it's no more strange than dating apps.
Yeah, because we had to remember before we were limited to being friends with people by proximity. You went to university with them, they were your childhood neighbor. But with social media, it opens up a world with people with similar interests. They seek you out because of our interest. And that really creates bonds and real relationships in my mind.
It really does. And I have zero weirdnesses or like shame about it at all, or about ever being like, I met this person through Instagram, or like we started DMing and now we're best friends. Like it sounds weird, but it so isn't, because it's what you said. It's like maybe I would have never gotten to meet or get to know that person in real life otherwise. So, I
Mhm.
mean, social media has, especially this summer with, with the pandemic and with everything my family went through, like I couldn't believe the result of the support and the love and the outpour that happened because of Instagram. And so that's
Mhm.
an amazing thing. So I never have anything bad to say about Instagram. I think you can, like anything, you can use it poorly, but I think it can be an amazing, incredible thing. And for me, like it showed it to me, like it restored my faith in humanity during like such a dark time of just
Mhm.
like people are inherently good.
Yeah.
And it's cool to be able to connect with people all over the world who you otherwise would never have the pleasure of getting to know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I've heard that a lot where you have these friends that you've never met and it's like, but they know me so well. Because a lot of our own friends and family kind of like, okay, we know Crystal exists, we know Anna exists, who cares? But then
Yeah.
people are like into your stuff.
I've seen those memes that are like, no one supports you, like a friend on social media you've never met. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
so true.
it's
That's so true. They
too
really
true.
do.
It's too real. And I mean, I guess I already know the answer to this question, but do you believe in social media breaks? I mean, some people really rely heavily on them. They even if they have a great relationship with people on there, they still think it's good to take breaks. Do you support that at all or not really?
Oh, 100%. I think you have to listen to yourself. Like there are days that it happened to me the other day. I got very engrossed in work. I was talking to my family on Skype and I was busy and I was like 6 o'clock and I realized I hadn't posted anything and I was like, oh my gosh, people are gonna think something's seriously wrong with me. But like I certainly don't spend my day thinking about I need to post at this time and I need to post at least this many things and da 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 da. Like I never plan it like that at all. So I kind of just listen naturally to myself. And there's some days I'm way more active and some days I'm way less active. But I do think you have to listen to yourself. If I always tell people, like, if it's not anytime another like content creator is expressing like their frustration with Instagram to me, that's when I'm like, then you know what? Like, then take some days off. Like anything that isn't making you happy, if you have the control to be like, I'm gonna chill on this idea for a while, then chill on this idea. Like it's still going to be there in a day or in 2 days or a couple days. Like it's not going anywhere. So I think it's important to just listen to your own self and your own happiness. If it's not bringing you joy at the moment, if it's stressing you out, then take some days off and chill and enjoy your own life.
Yeah, I hear a lot of my social media friends always talking about the algorithms and how Instagram is changing things and people aren't seeing their work and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And how do you respond to that? What do you think about that?
I honestly, it's not, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've always just kind of been someone of like, I don't allow myself to get upset by things I can't control.
Hmm.
And I don't work for Instagram and I don't know their algorithm, and to spend hours wondering what it is and how to beat it and how to make it better and when it's going to next change and how to maximize it. Like to me, that's not the way I like to use my time because that particular thing doesn't make me happy. So I never really worry about that. I just sort of, I do what I'm doing. I share a story when I want to. I try to sometimes post around the time when I know that like at least most people are awake, but not always. Like sometimes it's totally the wrong time to post and I know that, but I'm just like, but so what? I want to post right now, or like this is when I have time. So I think I know I definitely handle it, differently than a lot of the friends I have who are much more worried about like the algorithm and trying to beat it and be intact with it. But, to me, it's just like, I have no control over that. And I can stress myself out worrying about it and trying to make everything perfect. But at the end of the day, it's like, you could crack the code and then they change it tomorrow. So I'd rather use my time focusing on things that really make me happy. So I'd rather sit for an hour and write and work on my book than sit and work on the algorithm and how to crack it.
Yeah, no, that's a very powerful thing that you've discovered that a lot of people, we try to, but sometimes it just doesn't work, is like not worrying about people, things out of our control. It's easier
Yeah.
said than done for a lot of people. And I'm kind of there with you. It's just like, okay, I can't control this, moving on. What can I control? And there's a lot of power in that, it
I
helps
think so too. It helps you
less
just,
aging.
in so many things in life, like, even then when something's going wrong, whether it's work or whether it's your personal life or anything, if you can control what's happening, then you kind of just have to decide how you're going to deal with that.
Hmm.
And I think I just decided a while ago of like, okay, if I can't control it, then I'm not going to worry about it and move on.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And you recently, I mean, you just touched on this briefly in the show. I'm not sure if you want to talk about it, but you lost your brother-in-law to Corona. Is that correct?
Yes, he passed away in July. He was in the ICU for 95 days, and was perfectly healthy when he went in. He was 41 years old. He had no pre-existing conditions. And 95 days later, he passed away at Cedars-Sinai in LA, which was just, horrific, and still absolutely is every single day, and just unbelievable. It honestly doesn't feel like it's real. It's a constant reminder that that even happened because it seems so impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I think that's something that a lot of, I mean, obviously anyone would suffer from the loss, but also being so far, it's so difficult, to not be there for your family. And I imagine that's kind of how you touched with the outpouring of love from social media. People have really supported you in this time.
Yeah, I was there for most of it. I flew back from France and I was with my sister for about 2.5 months. I came back to Paris at the end of June because I had left a bunch of stuff here.
Hmm.
When all this happened, I had moved to France and I couldn't suddenly pick up everything and move it back. So I had left a bunch of stuff here, and my landlord at the time was being very kind and just letting me keep everything basically as a storage unit and not pay rent because Paris was completely locked down. And she was like, I couldn't rent this apartment out anyway. It's fine. You can keep your stuff there and it's fine. But then Paris opened back up way before America did, obviously. And so then I kind of had to come back and get everything together because, she wanted to rent her apartment out. So I came back to kind of scoop everything up, put it in a storage unit, and plan to go back to LA and stay with my family and, keep helping. And then, he, in a week, in that week time that I was here, just took a really bad turn and passed away very suddenly. And so it was very hard to be on the other side of, you know, the continent and then not be able to just get on a plane and go home. Like my first thought was like, okay, I have to get back to the US right away. But then I was like, I actually can't.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I hadn't been here for a full 2 weeks, so I couldn't turn around and go back to America. And then even when I did, I had to stay away from my family for 2 weeks. And it's such a bizarre time, and it's complicated everything so much. And we're all, I think that most of us, as as a race of humans, have really dealt with everything quite well. We've adjusted to this bizarro normal that we're all now living in a
Hmm.
pretty well way. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, I can't fly anymore. I have to wear a mask everywhere. I can't see people. I can't hug people. I wash my hands 1,000 times a day. But I think in retrospect, a couple of years from now, if hopefully life is back to somewhat normal, we're going to look back at this time as completely bizarre and
Hmm.
really realize how strange our lives were. And that was such a moment for me to realize, like, my family is hurting right now so horribly, and I'm hurting, and I'm alone in another country, and I cannot get back to them. And it was
Hmm.
really hard. There was such an outpour of love that it did. It's strange to say, but I didn't exactly feel alone because I could talk to my family, and then I just had, I think that day, I'm not kidding, I still haven't been able to even see all the DMs I have, because that day I think I must have received thousands of direct
Wow.
messages from people. I still can't. My phone has said 99 plus unread DMs since July.
Wow, I mean, that is the silver lining, like you said earlier. Like, it's just so shocking how much people, there is good in people. And I think, as we grow older and we live in big cities, we're like, people are bad and everyone's out to get us. But then you hear things like that, and it's like, no, like there's more good than bad. People want to help.
I think so. It's amazing. I mean, my sister and I are writing a book together about the whole experience that will come out in June with
Oh,
HarperCollins.
wonderful.
And so much of the story is reflecting on all these insane kindnesses that were done to us and for us, and it really does, as even we recount them, because our lives were such a blur at that time, that some things we even didn't fully appreciate and take the time to stop and think, wow, when it was happening, because every day was chaos. But
Hmm.
doing it now, you're just really like, I cannot believe the way people just showed up and loved and cared for total strangers. I mean,
Hmm.
total strangers.
Yeah, yeah, no, there is more good than bad. At least we hope. At least that's what we're experiencing during these weird times, as you said. It's going to be such a strange time to look back on. And
Yeah.
I'm interested to read the book on your experience with that, because so many people have had, just insane experiences from this time. And do you guys know the title of the book yet?
Yeah, it's called Live Your Life. It's on Amazon already for pre-order. Live Your Life is the title of my brother-in-law's song that he released, and then my sister was playing every day at 3 o'clock and doing an Instagram live, and I mean thousands of people all over the world were tuning in and singing and dancing with her, and then eventually with my entire family every single day until I think the last day she played it was on July 6th or 7th. A few days after Nick passed away, she did one last live, and it was insane. There, people would tune in every day and dance and sing and be in costumes and be with their entire families and their dogs, and it really is so much of the book is about that. It's just about like the way the world can come together for someone they don't even know and just show love and support and kindness. And I think we all really need to be reminded right now that that is a thing, that like that people can treat each other like that. And that when they do, it makes you want to do it. It just makes you want to say, what nice thing can I do for someone now? And Amanda and I both have been so focused on like the second I hear someone I know is having a hard day or celebrating something big or anything, like it just makes you like, okay, well, I must do something for them. Like I want to send them dinner because you remember how much it meant to you when someone sent you dinner because it really did help that day. Or you remember how much those flowers really brightened your mood every time you pass by them. So it is totally contagious kindness. And so if we can spread it however you can, I think it's such a wonderful thing to do. And it inspires creativity because you have to get creative. You have to be like, what nice thing can I do for that person? What do I know they love? What can I send them that isn't just, it isn't just bagels? What else could I do? Like it makes you kind of think outside the box and really think, how can I brighten someone's day? How can I help them? How can I be a little like ray of sunshine today for them?
I love that. I think it's such a great, idea to pay it forward. And it's even more important right now when everyone is suffering. And I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And where can listeners connect with you online and find out about more about the book? And I mean, obviously Instagram, but let people know where to connect with you.
Yeah, Instagram. I share probably way too much of my life on Instagram, but that's okay. My Instagram is at Anna Kloots. My website is annakloots.com. I haven't been doing it the last 2 weeks because I've just been overwhelmed with the book project, but starting when confinement began in March, I read a live story that I wrote every week that was kind of just about what was going on in my life or what I was reflecting on. So I do that on IGTV. So those are kind of fun if you want a really in-depth, like what's going on in her brain, what's going on in Paris, what's happening. And they range from like super sad stories to totally like, humorous, dark, funny. It's kind of all sorts of stuff. So that, and then I just got my first book deal. So my own personal book will be coming out in 2022 in the summer, which I'm
Wonderful.
very excited about. So
Great.
when I'm done with this project with my sister, I'll be starting my own.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. So many dreams coming true, with Paris and the writing. And I mean,
Yeah.
connecting with people that, are supporting. Why we're looking for silver linings right now.
There's always a lot. They're always there if you look. I believe that.
I believe that too. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. And I'll be on the lookout for all your upcoming stories and books. And I hope to see you in Paris soon.
I know. I hope when this all ends, we can have a nice glass of wine and something buttery and delicious.
I think we'll definitely need more than a glass.
That's true. Let's just start with a bottle and go from there.
Start with a bottle. Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.